In the year 711 AD, a small army crossed a strait separating two continents. This was not just a battle, it was the beginning of a story that would last for 8 centuries. It was the gateway through which Islamic influence in the fields of science, arts, and philosophy entered Europe. The story of a civilization founded that illuminated the darkness of Europe. The conquest of Andalusia, the story that changed the face of Europe. The Visigothic kingdom ruled this land with an iron fist, but it was a kingdom on the verge of collapse. Violent internal conflicts were tearing it apart from within. King Roderick, who had seized the throne by force, was facing conspiracies from ambitious nobles vying for his power, leaving the kingdom in a constant state of chaos. Under this rule, the people suffered from injustice and classism, and poverty was widespread. The land was ready, even primed, for a radical change. And from across the seas, where the sands of Africa meet the ocean's waters, the winds of change were getting ready to blow. A new force, young and faithful to its cause, was closely watching this weakness, awaiting the opportune moment to cross the strait, carrying with it a destiny no one had foreseen. The influence of the Umayyad Caliphate extended from the heart of Damascus to the far west on the shores of the ocean. It was a vast network through which news and decisions traveled at astonishing speed. Reports of the Visigothic kingdom's weakness reached the caliph's ears, transforming into a strategic decision that would change the course of history. There, in the province of Ifriqiya, the seasoned governor Musa ibn Nusayr received these orders. He was a man of statecraft and strategy who realized that history was opening a rare window of opportunity for him. After careful study and consideration, the moment arrived. This daring and perilous mission fell to the shoulders of his young Berber commander, Tariq ibn Ziyad, the man whose name would be forever linked with this conquest. With an army of a few thousand fighters, but with hearts full of faith, Tariq sailed towards the unknown. They crossed the strait in the dead of night, to find themselves at dawn on a foreign land facing a numerically superior enemy. It was here that Tariq made a brilliant strategic and psychological decision, a decision that history would immortalize. He ordered his ships to be burned, cutting off every path of retreat, and leaving his army with only 2 options: victory or martyrdom. The ships turned to ash, but from this ash, an unconquerable resolve was born. And as the flames consumed the last hope of return, Tariq ibn Ziyad stood before his soldiers to deliver one of the greatest speeches in history, words that would remain etched in the memory of time.
O people, where's the escape? The sea is behind you, and the enemy is in front of you, and by God, you have nothing but sincerity and patience. Know that on this island, you are more lost than orphans at a feast of misers. Your enemy has received you with their army, their weapons, and their abundant provisions, while you have no shield except your swords, and no provisions except what you seize from the hands of your enemy.
King Roderick's response was not delayed. He mobilized a vast army to crush this small force that had dared to enter his kingdom. At the Battle of Guadalete, the 2 armies met in an unequal confrontation. 100,000 Gothic fighters against a few thousand Muslims. For 8 days, Tariq's army stood firm against a numerically superior enemy, relying on their faith and courage, but betrayal and treachery within the Gothic army decided the battle. At the critical moment, Roderick's enemies turned on him, stabbing their own army in the back. It was a clear victory, in which not only did the Gothic leadership fall, but their entire kingdom collapsed, opening the door wide to centuries of a new history. It was not merely a military conquest, but the dawn of a new era of tolerance and prosperity. Within years, Andalusia transformed into a beacon of knowledge and civilization at a time when Europe was experiencing its dark ages. From here, from cities like Cordoba that became the capital of the world, the lights of philosophy, medicine, astronomy, and mathematics shone, and the sciences of the Greeks were translated and advanced. Architectural masterpieces were built, still bearing witness to the greatness of a civilization that united Muslims, Christians, and Jews in a unique social fabric. The story of Al-Andalus, with all its strength and weakness, prosperity and fall, is a unique story of human interaction between the East and the West. Its legacy did not vanish with its decline. Rather, its echo remains in every corner of modern Spain and in the halls of knowledge around the world. In its music, in its language, and in its palaces that tell tales of the past, it was a flame that lit Europe's path toward the Renaissance, a chapter that cannot be erased from the book of human history. It is a story that deserves to be told, understood, and remembered.